Hey guys, welcome back to this week's last but not least chapter review on the 5 love languages of children. And for today, we are going to be learning all about acts of service. So if you think that your child's primary love language is acts of service, make sure that you're subscribed and you stay tuned. If you haven't already seen the other love languages that I have spoken to in detail, make sure that you go back because you never know what your child's primary love language is. All right, so acts of service. Acts of service are physically and emotionally demanding qualities from a parent to a child. So we have to be there for someone. We have to be there for our kid, help them with their homework, take them to their after school activities. We have to make sure that we're in tip-top shape, not only physically, but also emotionally. Because if we can't move around and help them with these things, we can't help them with acts of service. If we are emotionally distraught, maybe going through a depression cycle, or we're not really connected with them, we're not gonna be able to fulfill these acts of service that our children are requiring of us. When you found out that you were having a child, or when you chose to work with children, you voluntarily enrolled for a full-time acts of service job. If you're a parent, your contract is for a minimum of 18 years. And after that, your acts of services, you go on reserve because you never know when they might need you. As we consider acts of service, you have to ask yourself, who am I serving? It's not just your child. If you are married, you serve your spouse, doing things that will please him or her in order to express your love. Now, check this out. As parents, we serve our children, but our primary motivation is not to please them. I repeat, it is not to please them. Our chief purpose is to do what is best. What would most please your children at the moment is likely not the best way to express your love. Put 3 candy bars in your child's lunch and she will cheer up, but you won't be giving her what is best. Yes, absolutely, all caps, yes. Now, if your child's love language is acts of service, this doesn't mean that we're gonna do everything for them. No, we do things for them that they cannot do. For example, we're not gonna spoon feed a 6-year-old. We're not gonna make an 8-year-old's bed. We're not gonna keep doing our son or daughter's laundry until their last day of school, and then when they go to college, expect them to know how to do these things. No, every age is followed by an appropriate act. We do things for our kids who cannot do these things for themselves. Because if we do these acts of service for our children who are capable, we are not only making them dependent on us, but we're crippling their sense of independency and self. We as parents and caregivers, we are here to serve our children. But as they are ready, we teach them how to serve themselves and others. Now, this can be a biggie for a lot of parents and honestly for myself because it's so much faster to just do things ourselves as adults, right? How long is it gonna take your kid to dress himself or to tie his own shoes or to make his own lunch? Something that we will do in a minute or less, it will take them 2-3 minutes. And I know that we don't always have that extra time to let them do it, but we honestly need to make an effort and let them do things that they are capable of doing. Now, as always, there is a scale that we need to be conscious of and fall kind of in the middle. So we don't want to do everything for our kids, but we also don't want to let them fend for themselves because they might be stuck genuinely. And don't be that parent who's like, you got it, don't worry about it. I know that you can do it. Hurry up, you've seen me do it 1,000 times. Make your own grilled cheese sandwich. Let's bring it back a little bit, okay? Now, in the book, it gives an example of a father and a mother who didn't really know what their child's love language was. And the counselor simply asked them, well, if you're not sure, why don't you simply ask your child, do you feel like I love you? Now, this question weighs like 1,000 pounds because you don't know what your child's gonna say. So this example, the father asks his 6-year-old son, hey, just be honest with me, completely honest. Do you feel like I love you? And the boy said, sure, Dad, I know that you love me because you take me on outings, wherever you go. And even though you're busy, we spend some time together. So clearly his love language is quality time. Now he had two sons. So now he asks the 17-year-old son, hey, shoot it straight with me. Like, be honest with me. I really want to know something that I've never asked you before, but be as transparent as you can. Do you feel like I love you? And the 17-year-old, he hesitated and he said, you know what, honestly, Dad, I know you love me, but honestly, sometimes I don't feel like you love me. So this is what the son said when he told the father, I don't know. I know that you love me because I'm your son, but sometimes I just don't feel it all the time. So he said, when I need you and you don't help me, like the time the fire started on the lower 40 and I sent word by my little brother that I needed your help. He came back and told me that you said that you knew I could do it by myself. We figured it out, but I kept wondering, why didn't you come? I kept telling myself that it was because you were trying to make me independent, but I kept feeling like you didn't love me. Or that time when I was 10 and having a hard time with my math, I asked you to help. You told me I could do it myself because I was smart. I knew you knew how to do it and you could have helped me if you would have just explained it. I felt let down. Or that time the wagon got stuck and I asked you to help me get it out. You said I got it stuck and I could figure out how to get it out. I knew I could get it out, but I wanted you to help me. Those are the times where I felt like you didn't care. See, this is exactly what I was talking about a few moments ago, which gets me kind of upset because sometimes we push our kids so far and we want them to grow up so fast and to be independent and to do things that we strongly believe that they know how to do. But honestly, sometimes they need a little bit of help. Or you know what, quite frankly, sometimes they don't need help, but they want you to be there with them because an act of service demonstrates to them that you will stop what you're doing and you will spend the time that they want with you. Now, parents and caregivers, we also need to be conscious of our energy when we are committing these acts of service. Because how many times is a child or your spouse asking you for help and you are just so stressed out and overwhelmed, perhaps from a hard day at work, that you do things begrudgingly or with a bad attitude, like, I'm gonna make you this dinner, but there's no love in it, or I'm gonna help you with this shoot, but you should have been doing this, or we're late because you were fooling around, so hurry up and come here, let me get you dressed. Like, woosah, woosah, woosah. Be conscious of the energy and how you're doing these acts of service. You should never feel like you're being a slave or coerced into doing these things. Because when you feel like that, trust me, those vibes are emitting and our spouses and our children can tell that you are not doing this out of genuine love. Now, the acts of service from parents to children is to show them how to emerge into true, mature adults and to show and give love to others through acts of service. Now, as children grow older, they're going to be able to demonstrate appreciation for these acts of service. For children, as with any adult, it's difficult to feel good about expressing appreciation when they are commanded to. Nobody likes to be told, hey, did you say thank you yet? Hey, did you go give that person a hug? No, nobody likes that. It's the difference between saying, go say thank you to your father, or saying, would you say thank you to your father? Making requests more soothingly help us to be positive and pleasant. When children and people have this assurance of being genuinely loved and served, they demonstrate appreciation for people's acts of service. Parents, we lead by example. When you show your kid that you're taking care of their sick aunt, or that you're helping the poor, or that you just opened this door for somebody who was in a wheelchair, they will mimic and mock you. So these acts will become genuine and kind of instinctual. Now, to end this review, the author says that if your child's primary love language is acts of services, this does not mean that you must jump at every request. It does mean that you should be extremely sensitive to those requests and recognize that your response will either help fill the child's love tank or else puncture the tank. Each request calls for a thoughtful and loving response. Now, if your child's primary love language is acts of service, you can do these things. Obviously, if they're having problems or issues, sit down with them, figure it out together. Show them that you will help them and you're taking time to sit there and try to figure this out. Instead of telling your child, just go to bed, I'll see you tomorrow, have a good night, I love you so much, bye-bye. No, pick them up, carry them to bed. It's an act of service, even though we don't realize that. Because obviously they can take themselves to bed, but we're helping them getting into bed and assisting them and tucking them in and helping them up the stairs, etc. If your child does sports, how about you help them practice? Pretty obvious, right? Make a list of your child's favorite things that they love to do with you and pick 1 or 2 of those things every week. All right, guys, this brings to a conclusion the 5 love languages of children's review and detailed explanation of them. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. And if you haven't already, check the description box below because I have listed there the 5 love languages of children by Gary Chapman. And while you're there, why not pick up the 5 love languages of adults? Because trust me, it will save you a bunch, especially if you're having perhaps marital problems or if you just want to be more in tune with your spouse. All right, guys, as always, make sure that you're subscribed, you like and or share this video, and I will see you guys all next time with another book review. Thanks for watching. Bye.